Hello everyone, welcome to devlog 28. This is our first devlog after Kickstarter campaign. We've been a bit quiet in the past 2 days, partly because we got relaxed a little bit, and it's the weekend. Another reason is my VPN was a bit unstable, so I switched to a new one. Since it's only been around 2 weeks from our last devlog, I will just briefly go through the current progress, then focus on development roadmap from this point, since I saw some people was asking about this. Let's start with the online co-op. If you have seen our number 13 Kickstarter update, this is a very basic online co-op simulation. So what does it mean? It means we have the online co-op features done, but this online mode only allows 2 players to move around and synchronizing some of the actions and animations. There are much more to be done. If you watch closely, the player character can't even hit the pedestrian NPC, and another player enters the status menu. It doesn't have any reflections on the other end, so it's a very unpolished feature for the moment. We will need to work out how things progress when playing minigames together and visiting shops, interaction NPC, changing map, cutscenes, and such. So that's quite a lot need to be done, but that's what we are aiming to finish. Then we improved the AI for the mob NPC. It improves several things. If there is anything blocks the road, the mobs won't be mindlessly running towards you, so this is fixed. Then the target locking is improved as well. Back then it works as the enemy only refresh target lock after they arrive to the location, so if you run away, they still move towards to your initial location. The new AI locks your location in real time, so they are much smarter pursuing player character. And we just imported new mob to the game, because we need a female type mob now. This mob NPC has 2 variations, a no-bone street meat hoe version and a kinkier one. The default color is green because that's all the mob's default color. She has 2 types of attack, throwing explosives and smack attack for closer distance. And she can jump too because we didn't give her running animation. That's all about the progress. Let's talk about the development roadmap. Since we got more funding with Kickstarter, the development schedule will need some changes. So firstly, I'm planning to hire another 2 people to help boost the production speed. 1 animator or artist and 1 junior engine programmer. The animator will be mainly helping me producing animation frames, which will provide me more time working on other things such as visual effects and polishing the overall visual presentations. But I will still work on some of the animations nevertheless. Then the engine programmer would be helping us putting everything in the engine, so me and the animator can work more efficiently. Say if I need 7 days to finish a mob NPC with all the animations and everything, there would be another 3 to 4 days to get the characters actually working in the engine, plus the other editing works that distract me and Iran from our focuses. So hiring people would be the most significant changes that comes next. As for the actual roadmap, let's start from this month. In August, we'll be focusing on finishing building the background stages and rework the art set for school area. Then at the 4th week of this month, I will be finishing all the remaining in-game text, documents, and scripts, mainly the NPC dialogue and some fragment lore pieces, plus the voiceover part and getting ready for voice talent to add voice lines. September, this would be the time we start fixing all the accumulated issues that we wrote down, even to rewrite the beginning and intro part of the game to make it more interesting and transit better. Also, polishing the visuals of the minigame, UI, title sequence, improve the combat visual effects, boss fight starting sequence, etc. All the little things added up that make the whole thing look bad. This as works for September. Then October, this would be the time that new recruits arrives, and time for us to update the demo build. But from this point, we'll be pushing the progress. If there is anything we need to commission and outsource, October would be the time to send out those stuff. Ideally, we will be producing the character assets in the consistent speed, getting the new recruit to become familiar with their work and the production pipeline, so we can be fully prepared for the next phase. Now, moving to November, this would be the time I start work on the backers designed NPC characters. Regarding getting in touch with backers with their designs and such, that will happen in the next couple of days, which is around mid-August. And what I will do is to collect the designs ideas first. If the designs all works fine, no lore breaking stuff, then that's ready for the visualization. Otherwise, I will discuss with the backers until we come up with a solution that everybody is happy with. December, that's for the crafting feature player home customize, and world expansion things. Obviously, we won't be able to finish all of them within that month, but I plan to finish crafting first. This will require a set of UI, a list of items with correlated icons, and implementations, such as how exactly it works and present in the game. For player home customization, we will start with some upgrades purchased first, then see if we can do more from here. World expansions. I have some ideas which I mentioned in the Kickstarter updates, but for the finalized plans, I will talk more about it in the future devlogs. Ideally, if things works according to the plan or doesn't fall behind too much, there would be a lot of progress by February. From this point, it's just all about producing assets and import to the engine. One thing that makes me feel confident about this project is everything we did or are going to do is within our ability range. There are some pressure with the amount of workloads, but the only thing it affects are just the times it takes for production. I believe once we get to that time phases, it's not really a big deal by then. Especially we have 2 production milestones and the most wonderful community to help us keep the game in the right track. I have faith in both this project and our awesome community. Now, after the development roadmap, let's talk about how much the Kickstarter content affects the production. You see, what it really affects is just development time. Well, it's very obvious, but in many cases that I talked with other game devs, adding features sometimes cost more than just time and money. Although at the end, it's all about time and money, but oftenly, adding new contents leads to changing the fundamental designs of the game. Luckily, that's not our case. Anyway, so crafting and player home customization, these two, I'm thinking of 1 month of work. For world expansion, that would be 1 or 2 months of works, because apart from the background level stages, we want to have actual content in it, NPCs, interactions, and all sorts of creatures and props. Lastly, playable character. We have 3 extra playable characters from the founding campaign, and they are all sword users. God, I seriously hope you guys don't mind about this. These 3 characters might take a bit less time than expected. For example, say Vivian. She's also a boss NPC in the game if you take the gangster route, so we'll be producing her moveset animation based on the requirement of boss NPC, which includes 70 to 90% of the assets, about 50 to 60 frames. However, to make it a playable character, we will need another 30 to 50 frames, depends on how complicated their action designs, plus the visual effects. Here is a breakdown of character animation process. For boss character with 60 frames, 1 day for rough animation draft, 2 to 3 days for clean up the line art and fill the base color. Then each day, for me, I can produce 6 to 8 frames. That's for around 14 hours a day of work. Then around 1 day for asset exporting and rigging in Spine 2D, 7 days for animation editing, and then another 3 days for adding visual effects, reviewing and fixing any problems. So if we add up all the times by the rule of prudence, we need 25 days to make a boss character. That's pretty much a month of work. Then I haven't counted time for in-engine editing, implement the AI and such. If we're able to get the animator in to assist this, I'm expecting the guy to produce 4 frames a day. That would be a massive help in the long run, and at least shortens the production time. Not to mention that while I'm animating the character, the guy can start working on the other character's frames. If we are able to bring the animator in at the beginning of October, I can expect the artist to provide me at least 80 frames a month. By the time of February, we will be having around 250 to 280 frames, holiday times excluded. Alright, knowing this, then we could calculate how much extra time we need to make these characters playable. I say it would be another 2 months for art asset production and 1 month for player control adoption. Conservatively speaking, then we also have the backer customizable NPCs, so yeah, that's quite a bit of time added to the total production here, but we're gonna pull this off. Okay, that's it for this devlog. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please follow our social media and wishlist the game on Steam. Join the Discord server to ask us anything or leave a comment. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.